Okay, I have been dying to use Mod Podge and napkins to make my Christmas ornaments this year. I've been seeing this technique all over the place for putting decoupage on different things, but not on ornaments, and I feel like it would be so perfect. So come with me as I try that, and I'm gonna walk you through the steps as I do it too, so you can try it as well. Okay, so this is my ornament. It's like a ceramic ornament. I just got it at Michael's the other day. And I am using Mod Podge. I haven't decided if I'm going to use matte or gloss yet. I will play that by ear in a minute. But I have a couple different napkin designs, and I actually am having a really hard time deciding which one I want to do. You know what? I think I am going to do this one. And no, I'm going to do the blue one. I told you I'm indecisive, but okay, I'm gonna do the blue one and I'm gonna kind of just figure it out as I go. Okay, so grabbing a napkin, and the first step is to remove the layers of the paper. This part, you have to kind of like peel apart the layers, and sometimes there's more than one layer. I think this one's only one. Okay, so we remove that extra paper layer, and then I'm gonna kind of just figure out which parts of this I want on my ornament. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of like cut them out, because I know that when you're doing decoupage, Mod Podge stuff like this, the less of the like white background on a napkin, the better, unless you were using a design like this one where you want all of it on there because the background is part of the design. This one I'm going to cut out as much of the shapes as I can, and then just kind of place them on my ornament. So to do that, another hack that I've seen, instead of using scissors, is to take a cup of water and a paintbrush. Actually, first I'm going to cut out this textured part because I know I don't want that. So I need to grab some scissors. Okay, so let me get rid of this textured part I know I'm not going to use. So now, like I said, I'm going to grab the water and I'm going to wet my brush and then look at kind of these spots that I want to include. So I'm going to take this one first, for example, and I'm going to wet around the outside, just kind of like making a border around it. And then it should be pretty easy to tear the parts that I don't want. There we go. You have to be kind of careful. I mean, none of this has to be perfect because it's just going to be kind of pasted on, but there we go. So now those edges look a little rougher and they'll blend onto the ornament better. So that's my first little piece. I'm going to do that again and grab a whole bunch of these, and then I'll be able to stick them onto my ornament in the different layouts that I want. Realistically, for this ornament, I probably, like for this design, I probably could just take a big piece of this and stick it on, but also the bigger the piece, the more wrinkly it can get. And again, I'm not trying to make it perfect or like super not wrinkly or anything, but I think it's just gonna work a little better if I take my time and place the smaller pieces. This is my least favorite part of what we're doing, by the way. I'm not a delicate craft person, so I find this part a little bit tedious, but it is worth it in the end, you'll see. And also if little pieces start to rip of the design that you wanted to keep, it's okay. Just kind of stick them back together. Don't give up on it. It doesn't have to be fully intact. Okay. Almost crumpled that, but I'm not going to because I'm probably going to need more. So now I have to decide, let me take this little tag off. I have to decide if I want satin or matte. And I think for the purposes of this video, I actually might do one side in gloss or sorry, not satin or matte, gloss or matte. I might do one side in gloss and one side in matte just to be able to show the difference. So let's start with gloss. We'll see if there's even a noticeable difference. So I'm putting some in there, and then I have a brush that's like, it's bendable, but it's kind of firm. And I'm gonna paste my first flower right here. Oh my gosh, the smell of this Mod Podge is bringing me back to my childhood big time. I used to do this all the time as a kid. So for me, I actually don't mind if some of the edges of this are wrinkly. I think it adds a little bit of, especially with this design, it looks kind of like cottagey and cute. So I actually don't mind if some of the edges are wrinkly or if there's little wrinkles in it. But if you do, there are some hacks for that. Oops. Oh no. There we go. You do have to be a little delicate, I say to myself, who is the least delicate person ever. I also sort of regret not ripping this a little more because you can see the edge. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but the more kind of like jagged and uneven the edges are, the better it ends up looking. So as you're ripping or before you paste them on, kind of check if your edges are super noticeable before you paste it on. I also think that I should have like started from the middle and gone out, because now there's a little bit of air bubble in there, which, like, again, I think it just adds a little bit of texture to this. But if you don't like that, I understand. So try working from the middle out and push the air out. Now I've kind of stuck down all the edges and there's no way for the air to get out. So it just kind of is what it is for mine. And I'm not too worried about it because I think once I add all of this, it's going to look really pretty and textured. So I'm going to keep adding them, and they can overlap. So I actually will use this to overlap on the edge that I didn't like, that previous one. And I'm going to start in the middle as I learn. This is already looking so cute. I think it's going to be really, really pretty. I'm going to love this on my tree. Love, 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 love. So I'm going to keep doing the gloss version on this side, and then when I switch to the other side, I'll put matte and we'll be able to see the difference. You know what? It's not, you don't need to overthink it too much, especially with this kind of design that is like all over the place. You can just put it on, squish it on however you want, and keep filling it up until you're happy with it. There's definitely some napkins that will require you to think a little bit more about placement, but if you choose one with like an ornate style like that, it actually makes things a lot easier. Okay, let's put this one here. It's a little tricky when it wraps around a rounded edge like that. And you can add more water and rip more of the edges off, or rip even some of the design off if it's getting a little too like goopy in these corners. But I'm actually just gonna fold it and wrap it around the edge because, like I said, I don't mind the texture on here. But if you're being really particular about it and you don't want that texture, you'd have to like kind of cut and rip your edges so that there isn't a ton of overlapping spots like that. Or choose a smaller piece to go there. Look how cute this is looking already. Oh my gosh. I'm honestly loving this so much already. I might try and wrap it on the edge like this. It's gonna get wrinkly, but it is what it is with an ornament that has round edges like that. Okay, you know what? I lied a little bit, and I think that that bubble's gonna bug me. So I'm gonna try something and see if it works. I'm gonna grab an X-Acto knife, and I'm gonna cut the smallest little sliver in the napkin. but you'll barely be able to see. And I'm gonna push the air out and see if that'll work. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, I got the air bubble out. Now it's got a big wrinkle there, but like it kind of just looks like part of the flower. You can't even tell, right? Perfect. Oh, I love the look of that little one. And I'm gonna put one more small one on this corner, and then we're gonna flip to the other side, and I'm gonna change into the matte, and we'll see the difference. Oh my gosh, I can't get this to stick. Okay, there's my front for now. I'm gonna let that dry so that I'm not touching the wet side while I'm doing the other side. So I will clean off my brush. I'll put some matte Mod Podge in here. I'm gonna cut out probably a couple more of my napkins while I wait, get some smaller pieces, and then I'll flip it over and do the other side. This is not fully dry, but that's okay. I'm gonna just sacrifice my hands getting goopy a little bit. And let's start with a bigger one down here maybe. I'm excited to see a direct comparison of the matte versus the gloss. I don't think it's going to be a big difference, and I don't think I'll notice it once this is on my tree, but I think it's helpful to see it back to back in a video like this, so hopefully it's helpful for you. I actually wonder if it'll even translate at all on video, so we'll see. Okay, then let's do a nice big one here. Really fill up some space. I gotta say, this is a really satisfying, really easy craft. Like, there's not much screw up ability. Maybe I'll trademark that word. There's not much screw up ability in this craft because no matter what you do, it looks so pretty. All right, we need a smaller one here. Okay, we also need a smaller one here. Got a little chunk of paper coming off right here, and that's okay. Just gonna try and peel it gently. Okay, and then what am I thinking? I need something on this edge. A big one will be too much. I think I need to put just this small one here. So what I'm learning as I go is the smaller the piece, the easier it is. Might take a little bit longer, but it definitely gets less wrinkly when it's a small piece. So cutting it smaller is helpful. I like that, and I think that'll fit really nicely right here. Oh yeah, perfect piece. Okay. Oh, I love that. That fits so perfectly right there. It is pretty wrinkly, and I can see a world where somebody would prefer it to not be wrinkly. And for that, I saw a trick where you put your napkin on, you cut open a Ziploc, or you have a plasticky surface and you put your napkin on it, and then you use that to place it onto your item and really smooth it out before you Mod Podge it on. So you could definitely try that. But I actually kind of really love the texture. I think it gives it a little character. So now I've got it all over the edges. I think no, you know what? I need one more little piece because this corner looks really sad. So let's pick a little. I've kind of got a couple sad corners, but these ones don't feel as sad. I don't know. Yeah, this one needs a little guy. Oh, it's hard to do this on an ornament when you have to hold it up. So let me dry this off as much as I can. I'm gonna let it dry, and then I'm gonna come back and we're gonna see if we can spot the difference between the matte side and the glossy side. Okay, it's dry. It is such a slight difference in the matte side and the glossy side, I'm not sure you're even going to be able to see it on camera. I would never ever know. If you hadn't told me that I did it with 2 different Mod Podges, I would never know. So let that be our little lesson in the fact that you can use either, and don't stress too much about which one you're using. The last thing I want to do is, I know this is already a red ribbon, but this one's velvet. I just think it elevates it a little bit. So I'm going to switch the ribbon out. Totally personal preference. And hopefully I can even get this ribbon through this hole. Am I going to regret this? Maybe. It's so close I can almost grab it. There we go. Okay. And I want it to have a pretty ribbon, like a pretty bow at the top. So I'm going to pull this. I'm going to give myself a significant amount of ribbon. I'm no pro at tying bows. I'm no bow pro, but I think it's gonna look a little prettier. Should have looked up how to tie bows before I did this. It could be better, it could be worse. My happy little bow. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed making these with me, and maybe you will set up a girls' night, a friends' night, a craft night with your friends too, the same way I am going to show this to my friends this weekend. In the meantime, I'm going to link you to another video that I think you're going to like for the holidays, and I'll see you over there.